This is the new 2024 Toyota Camry SE. The Camry has always been a go-to for anyone that wants a reliable and long-lasting car that can get them from point A to point B. But with the refreshed model out and the tough competition, is this still an amazing choice in 2024? Let's go ahead and find out. Now let's start off with the styling. This SE model has a pretty aggressive design with this fully blacked out grille with the large Toyota badge in the middle. Now not all of it is functional because at the bottom only half of it is functional and the air curtains underneath the headlights are not at all functional. Moving on to the headlights, these will have a very interesting design. Now you do have an LED headlamp, but you do not get an LED turn signal, so that will only be available on the upper trim levels. Moving on to the wheels, these will be very artfully designed and stylish for this SE model. You have a split spoke design, but I really like how they put some black trim in there as well. Moving on to the side profile, there isn't really a lot going on here if you think about it. You have chrome that surrounds both the top and bottom of the windows, and you have mirrors that have a blinker, blind spot monitoring, and heating. Moving on to the back, we also don't really have a lot going on back here. We do have a rear diffuser with dual exhaust, and we have mostly incandescent taillights. This is a common thing to see on sedans like this, where the reverse light and the blinker are incandescent. Now let's move on to the interior and see what kind of stuff you get for $30,000. $30,000 isn't a lot of money, so I'm not going to hold very high expectations to this Camry. But let's take a look at what we do get. The door panel will be mainly made of soft touch plastic. It's on the upper part, on the armrest, and you also get some chrome right there. All of your switchgear will be located in the normal position, and you have your storage space down there. Now you do have all-weather floor mats right there, and you also have these faux leather seats with this really cool sporty pattern in the middle, and these will be 10-way power adjusting. Now first impressions of this interior, it is kind of dated. It hasn't been updated since 2018, so I don't have very high expectations. Now if you want to see how dated it actually is, you have the old-fashioned key fob. So if you are a fan of this, the Camry will have it on the more affordable trim levels. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, it is very nicely leather wrapped. You have plastic buttons here, and this will be heated, which is very surprising for $30,000. I'm not mad about it though. And you do have a small center screen for the gauge clusters. These will be mostly analog, and you can scroll through all of the different settings you have right here, the safety features. I'm just gonna leave it at that for now because that's the mode I generally prefer. Now you don't really have a head-up display on any of the Camry models, but let's take a look at materials. Now this part will be finished in soft touch plastic. You get some gloss black right here, and this very interesting trim that goes through the center part. Now this part will be finished in soft touch plastic as well. You also get some white contrast stitching, and I'm not really sure what to call this. I'm pretty sure it's plastic, but it doesn't really have the texture of it. But overall, this cabin is pretty simple, and I'm not mad about that. Now let's take a look at the kind of storage we have. Now over here, we actually have little storage space, maybe to put some cash or some coins. And you also have two cup holders. Now you have a phone holder right here. Probably not going to fit a Pro Max phone, but I'm pretty sure you can get this as a wireless phone charger if you get a more expensive model. Now taking a look at the center console, you have a good amount of space down there. It's not the best that I've seen, but definitely better than most of the competition. You also will get two USB ports. And speaking of connectivity, you will also get a little USB port right there and a 12-volt power socket. This is specifically for Apple CarPlay. Now let's take a look at the kind of technology we have here. As you can see, it's a very tiny screen. you have the Entune 3.0 system. Obviously, the new Camry, the 2025 model, will have the audio multimedia system and a much bigger screen. I'm not a big fan of this system. It doesn't work the best, and I definitely prefer the audio multimedia system. But as you can see, we got wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can register your phone right there. Bluetooth audio, no Wi-Fi hotspot though. So that is something that is missing from this Camry. I'm sure they will have it on the 2025 models. Now, taking a look at the climate controls, it's very simple. I don't know why most other cars have it super busy along this part. Now you have dual zone climate control. You can sync it right there. You also can control your fan speed with this button, and you have your airflow control right there. Now, taking a look at the camera, it's pretty low resolution. It could be better, but from 2018, I think this is pretty good. Now you do have a wider view if you want it, and you can change the active trajectory guidelines if you want to, but overall, not too bad. I just would have liked to see a little bit bigger of a screen so that this can take up a little bit more space. Now taking a look up top, you don't really have a lot going on up here. We got a normal rear view mirror. We also will have our two lights up here. These will be LED, and you have a sunglasses holder. There is no moonroof equipped with this SE model, but overall, I think the interior for $30,000 is pretty good and will definitely get you a lot of stuff that you weren't expecting for $30,000. Now let's take a look at the passenger side and see what your front passenger is going to get. The door panel is basically the same, mostly plastic and some aluminum. You do get a little bit of storage down below. Now the seats are also going to be basically the same. You get faux leather with that material right there. However, these will be 4-way manual adjusting. Don't worry, they are also heated, so you're not going to lose much on the passenger side. Now let's hop in and see what else we get. Now as expected, everything is basically plastic. You get some faux carbon fiber and some soft touch plastic right there, but you do get a good amount of space considering that this is on the smaller side. Now let's take a look at the thigh support. It is kind of minimal since you can't really adjust the seat up and down, but you do get a pretty nice sized glove box for a sedan. Now let's take a look at the second row, and this is the whole reason why you would buy a Camry over the Corolla. You just get so much more space and versatility throughout the second and the first row. Now taking a look at the door panel, we have some storage down below, and all of our switchgear, which is just the window switch, and the seats are surprisingly super comfortable. This faux leather is really doing it for me. Now inside, you get a good amount of legroom, even though this front seat is slid almost all the way back. Now you do get a smaller seat back pockets, and you also get some more storage in the center here. Now for $30,000, you don't really get a lot of amenities, but it is a nice place to spend time if you have to go on a trip. You get a lot of space back here, and the seats are super comfortable. Now let's take a look at the cargo area and see what kind of space we get back here. Now opening the trunk is not that hard, you just have to hold the button on the key or look for the button in the trunk. Now take a look at all of that space, you guys. This is a lot and significantly more than the Corolla. You even have cutouts on both sides to fit anything a little bit on the wider side. You also get hooks on the back, and you can fold down the seats by pulling these levers. Now we do also have the optional cargo liner, so if you have something a little bit messy, it's super easy to clean compared to the carpet one. Now let's take a look at what we get under the hood. The Camry can be had with a 4-cylinder or a V6 engine, and I personally would get the V6. However, we have a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine right here, putting out 203 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. This is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, which I'm sure will last forever. I've seen people put 1,000,000 miles on these Camrys, and I'm sure you can do even more with this brand new Camry right here. Moving on to the competition, let's see if the Camry is worth it over the others. You have the Honda Accord, which has been redesigned last year for 2023. You also have the Hyundai Sonata, which was redesigned for 2024 and is looking pretty cool. You also have the Nissan Altima, which is pretty outdated, and we have a couple others that I'm not really going to go in depth into. The Camry was redesigned back in 2018 and is getting pretty dated, but we do have a 2025 Camry going on sale later in the year. So if you want best styling and if you want some extra features, definitely wait for that one. Taking a look at dimensions, this Camry is on the larger side, measuring it at 192 inches in length and 72 inches in width. Well, there you have it. That's going to wrap up today's review on this 2024 Toyota Camry SE. This is definitely aging well, and the refresh model is going to be even better than this is already. If you want a car that can get you from point A to point B and can go over 1,000,000 miles, this is definitely the car to buy. You're definitely not going to get that kind of reliability on something like a Hyundai Sonata. So would you buy this car? Go ahead and comment your thoughts down below.